Hello, respective viewers. People were asking, what the fuck? I couldn't quite believe it when I saw the headline. I knew the US was going to do something. They don't have this massive military build-up for nothing over the past 3 months. I thought they're going to be airstrikes, a ground invasion. That is fraught with danger. Okay, you can get to Caracas. That's the easy part. What do you do once you get there to control this huge city of teeming slums with all these narco gangs armed to the teeth in a sort of labyrinth of lanes? You might have to kill thousands of civilians because you can't tell who's an enemy, who's a civilian. Not that that would stop Trump. Then you could be mired there for years. It would have shades of Iraq. The only thing making it a bit easier is this country is not as far away from the United States, not as culturally different. The US military obviously got plenty of Spanish speakers as well. So I thought there might be airstrikes, pressure. There were negotiations. Would Maduro, would he resign as president? It was handing over to whom? Could he be guaranteed immunity from prosecution? Where would he go? Somewhere like Cuba. I didn't see this one coming. I think, when's the last time that a head of state has been kidnapped? I can't think. I mean, the Catalan prime minister, he was arrested, I suppose, by the French, extradited to Spain under Franco, executed by firing squad unjustly. Um, um, Anyone else? I mean, I can't think of it because Mussolini was arrested by his own people, rescued by Otto Skorzeny, and then fought on as the Republic of Salo. So this seems to be, like we used to say in Ireland, gubu, grotesque, unprecedented, bizarre, and unbelievable. Wow. So you, as a coup de main, you might say was highly successful. So the U.S. military, they wanted to kidnap Nicolas Maduro. They succeeded, and none of their people got killed. So morality and legality aside, it was a resounding success for them. It's always risky when you go to see someone. What if she tries to run away, defends himself, opens fire? Your troops have to defend themselves. You might kill said person, and then the US would be seen to have assassinated a head of state, which of course is against US law. But this is kidnapped because, okay, you arrested him, but wait a second. Did they issue an arrest warrant for him? Not that I'm aware of. And obviously that's not legally valid in Venezuela. If the Venezuelans arrested him and their courts extradited the United States, that would be different, but they didn't. So he's recognized the president of Venezuela by many people, not by European countries mostly, not by the United States. Is he president of Venezuela or not? That's dubious. Many people think he's illegitimate. And incidentally, I hold no brief for him. He is a socialist tyrant. He's run the country into the ground. Is Venezuela going to be better post-Maduro or not? I don't know. I'd like to think it is. Even if it is better, that doesn't automatically make this legal. You've always got to note that what sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. Suppose this happened a different way around. What if it wasn't the US kidnapping somebody else's president? What if the president of the United States were kidnapped and taken to another country by North Korea, by China, by Russia, by Iran? Yeah. Would the Americans accept that? Of course not. So why is it all right the other way around? So international law binds everyone. There's lex genitum, including the United States, which is very quick to gratingly assert its rights pursuant to international law and international norms and so on, and has no hesitation in preaching with this gratingly moralistic tone to everybody else about adhering to their obligations under international law. And President Trump has even said the United States is going to administer Venezuela. So that's colonialism, which you might think is a splendiferous thing, and sometimes it is. But these days, there's the international conventions against colonialism. The United States has often denounced it itself, having started out as 13 colonies, obviously despite having practiced colonialism all over the place in Liberia and various Caribbean countries, in the Pacific and so forth. Anyway, so he's going to control Venezuela until such time as we can do so in a proper, safe, and judicious transition. Wow. Okay, so he said there was a much broader assault going to come in if necessary. Now, this may seem odd from Trump. Remember, the MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, was no more forever wars. And Trump, he applauded the liberation of Iraq when it happened in 2003. When it became unpopular, he changed his tune, as he always does. And he says, we're not into nation building. Now they are into nation building, and so on. Staggering. So he's then blindfolded, wearing ear defenders. Is that even lawful? Seems like he's got a cast iron case there for abuse of his human rights by holding him like that. Why should we blindfold and have these ear defenders on or whatever, sound excluded, so he can't hear what's going on? So he's been indicted in New York on charges of narco trafficking and indeed illegal weapons trading and so forth. But surely his trial is going to be illegal in as much as it started with an abduction. This is very serious for Venezuela. But obviously, some of America's other foes in the region will be quaking in their boots. The president of Cuba, for instance. And you could even say to Putin, well, we'll do this to you. And evidently that would get through. Now, you might say, well, come on, North Korea, so on, they couldn't do it to US. Okay, the United States is strong now, but you're saying that therefore that might is right. There may come a time when the United States is puny and another country is mightier. Would that be okay then? No, it wouldn't, and so forth. If the Venezuelans removed him, that's different. And I know there are elements in Venezuela will certainly be cheering this on. You know, I know a Venezuelan woman in London, and she thinks it's marvelous. So, I'm not too moralistic in denouncing this, but it sets a precedent for other countries toppling each other. And obviously, Putin, because he's cunning, despite having had a very cordial relationship with Maduro, might try to curry favor with Trump by cheering what he has just done. So we just don't know what's going to happen. The situation could be anarchic. Venezuela has been run into the ground by over 20 years of socialist mismanagement. Millions of them have fled abroad. They've rigged the elections flagrantly. Should it be Capriles? And Trump has said the quiet bit out loud. Really, this is smash and grab. He wants the oil. Kick his ass, get the gas. That's what Republican bumper stickers used to say about Iraq. Okay, he claims that they've interdicted 97% of the drugs that were coming by sea to the United States. Well, I obviously don't believe a single word that he says. And Mr. Maduro's spouse is also with him. So Senora Maduro is also in United States custody. What a humiliation for a security detail. They didn't keep him safe, being brought to New York City. And he was then on that ship, the United States ship Iwo Jima. I mean, after that island in the Pacific Ocean where the Americans won a very bloody victory over the Nipponese. So that's the press conference. So the Central Intelligence Agency was able to identify Mr. Maduro's whereabouts, and Delta Force, they were the ones who grabbed him. So the US government had said they would pay on $50 million who provided information leading to the arrest. I don't know if the CIA get that themselves. But Maduro still has some supporters, and they've noisily demonstrated against what the United States has done, saying that he must be set at liberty. So if Venezuela take the United States to the International Court of Justice, I think it highly likely the ICJ would win. But Maria Corina Machado, the one who got that Nobel Prize, she has said she's very appreciative of what the United States has done for a country and that the hour for freedom has dawned. And Edmundo Gonzalez, who many people say really won that 2024 election, said he should now assume the powers of the presidency. Will the military stay loyal to Maduro? Now he's not even there. He said, well, there's no point staying loyal to him. He can't give us orders. The US might get him to give an order to surrender. Would they do so? Say, well, that's under duress and so forth. So we can't take this seriously. I bet Trump is saying, I wish I could do that to Zelensky. But they've pulled off an operation that the Russians are not capable of pulling off this caper and so on. So it is staggering. I know the situation is bad in Venezuela. It could get even worse. I think this is the easy part of the US for the US, but other countries, I say, we're trying to establish the facts and have not denounced them because they're so desperate. America's mostly allies for military aid. No doubt the Israelis will say they are very happy about this. Maduro was a harsh critic of them. All right. Thanks for watching my channel. Make sure you subscribe on Patreon, PayPal, George790gmail.com. Goodbye.